All right, guys, so let's not act like we didn't see the Republican National Convention, right? On Thursday, your boy Donald Trump got up on stage and he literally said out of his mouth that day one, the first thing that he would do is repeal all of that EV mandate car stuff, right? All of that electric vehicle stuff that Joe Biden enacted during his tenure. First thing Joe Biden did was basically said that by the year 2030, he wants 50% of all new cars and light trucks to be electric. California said, I'll see your 50% and double that. They want 100% of all new cars and light trucks by the year 2035 to be electric. Now, this affects us, right? And when I say us, I'm talking about the Mopar community. It affects us more than most because, as you know, the HEMI's dead, V6 engine is dead. All we got is an inline six and electric stuff. If your boy Trump gets in office, that HEMI may be coming back. How do you feel about it? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in the house. That makes this a house vlog. You know, one day I want to come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button so that you know what's going on and when it's going on. So I'm not even going to waste your time here. Let's just go to what your boy Trump said. I'm not even going to try to paraphrase it myself. I want you to hear it from the man's mouth.
And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country, no tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world, and we're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything. And
all right, guys. So that's that. Boom. Let's go to this report here.
Potential major policy shift. Referring to eco-friendly initiatives as green scam ideas, Trump criticized the mandate, which aims for 2/3 of all new cars and trucks sold in the U.S. to be electric-powered within 8 years. From a political standpoint, this stance underscores a sharp contrast with the current administration's goals and could resonate strongly with Trump's base. Voters skeptical of rapid environmental policy changes and those concerned about the economic impact on traditional industries may find his message appealing.
Now, he calls them green scam. So, you know, a lot of people would say green initiative, but they're actually a green scam. So, I mean, let's look at it here. So, Joe Biden basically stated to the EPA's regulations ensure that the nation meets its goal that 50% of all new car sales are electric by the year 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 6 years from now. 6 years from now, he wants 50% of all new cars, not all cars on the road, but all new cars sold after 2030 to be electric. If you live in California and you're watching my videos from there, your boy has, Governor Newsom has doubled down on that and said, I will see your 50 and raise you 100%. By the year 2035, 100% of all new cars and light trucks sold in California will be zero emission vehicle, including plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. So basically, no more V8s, no more V6s. 9 times out of 10, no more inline sixes, no more ICE engines at all. They want pretty much everything to be what, plug-in hybrid or electric, basically, is what's being stated here. And your boy Trump has said it out of his mouth that that is not going to be the case, right? Day one of him getting elected, he's getting rid of all of those EV mandates, and he's going to take things back to what they were. Now, to my understanding, I'm not an electric car guy at all, but reality has set in with the electric car push, to my understanding. I think in 2023 or 2022, Joe Biden set out basically to say that this was the mandate and this is what we were going to do, and we're going to push for 50% EV countrywide, which is all well and good. On paper, that sounds good, but the fact of the matter is people are not buying EVs. To my understanding, the biggest thing is the electrical grid, right? So if you live in California, for all you guys that live out in Cali, and probably even Texas and maybe even New York, you guys probably have power stations all over every corner, right? The same way that we have gas stations on every corner, every exit in Charlotte or North Carolina, period. You guys have power stations probably on every corner. So in California, in Texas, certain places in Texas, New York, certain places in New York, that's probably fine for you all. But in the South, that's not really feasible. I mean, we have power stations, obviously, but more than likely, you're going to get 95% of your power from your home. So if you're not charging your car up at home, it's simply not going to make sense to own an EV this soon, especially as your primary vehicle. I know people that actually have Scat Packs and Hellcats as their play car, and during the week they have Teslas. But to my point, they charge up their car at home. They don't use power stations. They don't trust power stations. They charge up their shit at the house. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an electric guy, so I don't know of all the power stations in Charlotte. There could be one on every exit. I don't see it because that's just not something I'm privy to. But to my understanding, I mean, they make it seem like electric cars are the way to go. They're so much cheaper. You're not paying for gas. But in actuality, and I'm looking at thehill.com, which is a reputable news source, they are significantly, and this is a quote, they have to be convinced to accept the severe economic and performance limitations characterizing EVs. They are significantly more expensive than conventional vehicles to purchase, maintain, repair, and even operate once depreciation costs are included. Under a wide set of operating conditions, cold and hot weather in particular, driving range for a full battery charge is poor. We saw that this past winter in, I think it was Detroit. Now, shout out to my Michigan subscribers. I think it was Detroit where you guys kind of had that apocalypse, right? Where those EVs were basically failing. I mean, because it was so cold. You guys got hit with that ice, that polar system that you guys got hit with up north. And it was so cold up there to where, for one, the Teslas were not taking the charge and they were not maintaining the charge that they did get. And the power stations were packed out and some of them were completely shut down. I've never seen a V6, a V8, a diesel, you know what I'm saying? I've never seen any of these engines that didn't start in inclement weather, especially in the South and even up north, to be honest with you. It's just one of those things like you got to let it run for a little bit, let it warm up, let it do what it's supposed to do, then it's going to be fine. There are hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube right now where they've got diesel Rams and diesel Fords and diesel Chevys that are starting in like -10, -20 degree weather. Just one of those things like you got to let it warm up and you got to plug it in at night depending on how cold it's going to be. But, you know, I'm not getting into that. But long story short, the purpose of this video is a lot of people were sending me this, that day one, your boy Trump basically stated that he was going to repeal all of this EV stuff. And this affects us more than it does most because we're losing the HEMI, we're losing the V8, we're losing a Hellcat, Scat Pack, RT. We're losing a whole lot of damn cars. All because, that's my chair making that noise. All because, you know, of Dodge wanting to meet these EV regulations. And I think with Dodge, it's one of those things like they want to be the first to the party so that they're the most attractive there, right? They're going to pull out this SRT Daytona Banshee electric bullshit because they want to be the first to the party. They want to be the most attractive. They want to be the first ones there with the quote unquote performance electric vehicle. You know what I'm saying? But the way things are looking, and this is not a political channel. I'm not getting political. I'm not taking sides. I have a side, I'm not going to say. But from the way that it's looking, Donald Trump, as soon as he gets into the office, all that EV bullshit is going out the window. All of that 50% all new car sales by 2030, which is literally 6 years from now, which is crazy to think. And I mean, that's probably why Stellantis is pushing so hard right now because they're trying to meet that emissions bullshit in 6 years. But 6 years, 50%, and then California, they want 100%. When he gets in office, all of that shit's getting repealed. You know what I mean? It's getting repealed immediately. So with that being said, if or when or if, let me say if he gets into office, you know, will that Hemi be coming back? Will that V8 be coming back? Right? Will this electric EV bullshit just kind of be a bad experiment that didn't go well? Because to my understanding, like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I haven't done a ton of research on it, but it seems that our current administration has laid out a lot of legislation going forward as far as producing electric vehicles, as far as mandating electric vehicles in the next 6 to 8 years, which is fine. But people are not buying electric vehicles because, simply put, our grid can't tolerate electricity, that type of, you know, electrical load. I mean, hell, look at the electrical grid that's going on in Texas right now. For some of you guys, you're still suffering from Hurricane, what was it, Burl? You know, the grid being down out there. It's like, how in the hell do you expect for people to invest in not only electricity to power their home in a grid like Texas, where, you know, you guys have your own grid, right? You have I think it's the eastern grid, the western grid, and then Texas is their own grid in and of itself. And it's like, whenever the grid goes down in Texas, like, everybody's fucked. Like, nobody's charging cars. You can still go to the gas station and put gas in your car and go from A to B. But as far as charging your car or charging it at home or charging it at a power station, you're fucked with the capital F. You know what I'm saying? A lot of places just don't have that infrastructure to power hundreds of thousands of electric vehicles. Not yet. In the future, probably so. You know, 10, 15 years from now, probably so. Everywhere should be, up to date when it comes to powering these cars. But right now, we're kind of in that in-between period where a lot of places are switching over, but it's just going to take time. But that's not something that I want to invest in right now. I don't want an electric vehicle as my performance and play car right now. As a daily, to charge your car at home overnight, and you should be good to go to work and pick up the kids and go to the grocery store and come home, you should be straight. But it's like, I don't want to put my life in the hands of an electric vehicle just yet. I don't think we're there as a country. I don't think we're there as a power grid. I don't think our power grid is there just yet. But according to Joe Biden, he wants 50% of everything to be there in 6 years. And Governor Gavin Newsom, out in California, wants 100% of all cars to be electric by 2035. But when your boy Trump gets in, if your boy Trump gets in office, he's going to repeal that shit immediately, which is going to affect us because we're losing everything, right? He gets in office, we get that V8 Hemi back. Everybody in the comments have been talking about it. You can go to Instagram right now. Everybody's been sending it to me that if he gets in office, we may be getting that Hemi back. And I wouldn't be surprised because I think Dodge, first off, they're losing money as we speak because they've got 23s that are still $60, $70, $80, $90,000, 10, 15, 20,000 overpriced, over MSRP. So they're losing on that. They're losing with the 24s and the 25s because nobody knows what an inline 6 engine is. And nobody's going to pay $80,000 for a 1500 Laramie Ram. You know what I mean? Nobody's paying $88,000 for a 1500 Ram, right? I saw somebody in the comments that said in 2015 they bought Hemi 5.7 1500 for like $58,000, and I think he said it was a Bighorn. And literally that same car without the engine in 2025 is going to run him closer to $70,000, $72,000. You know what I mean? So it's like nobody's buying those cars to begin with, so they're already stacking up. And then two, you're going to force this EV bullshit down our throat, and it's simply not going to work. You know, it's just simply not going to work, especially from a brand like Stellantis. Like, nothing about Stellantis says on the bleeding edge of technology, you know, best electric company. Like, come on now, that's not Dodge, that's not Mopar. You know what I'm saying? Every Charger that I've had some sort of electrical glitch at some point or another. You know, it was normally just something small that I'll have to get used to or to correct itself. But like, when you're gonna power an entire car based off of, you know, electrical prowess and your electrical know-how, nobody's buying the Stellantis. Stellantis isn't the first 5 companies to come up in your I want an EV category. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to lose money with the EV chargers too. They're going to lose money with the inline 6 chargers. And I think it's going to be one of those things where when Trump, or if Trump is in office, it's going to be one of those things like, we got to bring the V8 back. We got to bring the Hemi back. We got to bring these cars back. In order for us to come back to profitability, we got to bring them back, and we got to bring them back with the storm. You know, Ford has already doubled down on their V8s. Chevy has their V8 hybrid situation going on that they're pushing. And Dodge can't be the only one that's pushing this bullshit inline six and this electric mess. You know what I mean? So when Trump gets in, if Trump gets in office, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you're probably going to see that V8 come back. A lot of V8s are going to come back. All of this EV stuff, I think it'll be an option. I think there'll probably be a 5, 10, 20% market share for EV. But, you know, ICE powered automobiles are going to come back with the storm. V6s, V8s, all that stuff, V10s, V12 for the exotic stuff. But I personally think that day one, he's dead serious that he's going to repeal all of that EV stuff, and at least repeal it to the point where it makes sense and it's feasible. Not 50% of our economy and 100% if you're in California. Like maybe 15, 20%. Start small. You know what I'm saying? Give these companies time. Because to my understanding, you know, a lot of these companies that have gotten in the EV market have failed. Mercedes with the EVQ, they had issues with that car, and I think that they pulled back on a lot of their EV lines. A lot of companies are pulling back, man. You know, they're pushing this EV shit, but a lot of companies are realizing it just doesn't make sense. Like, we've got to stick with our 6s and our 8s. We got to stick with engines. We're not there yet, and I don't blame them one bit. So that's what we're looking at right now. Your boy Trump has said it out of his mouth that day one, former President Trump has said from day one, he's going to repeal that EV bullshit and get engines back in these cars, get people back to work, make prices cheaper, all that stuff. Interest rates are going to drop. It sounds good. How do you feel about it? Talk to me, man. Like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy Knockout 360. I'll see you in the next one, man. Peace.